This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
Yes, a half century later, we are still here, and glad you are too. Welcome, everybody. Happy to have you along for the next 30 minutes. I'm Ray DeLessio. As you can see, Kenny is off today. Coming up, what is next for blueberry producers after the recent freeze wiped out the majority of the state's crop? We'll hear from two growers who say it is the worst damage they have ever seen. Speaking of damage, we'll show you how farmers from across the country are pitching in to help those in the Southwest who suffered heavy losses during the recent wildfires. But this show, not all doom and gloom. Coming up, country music sensation Zac Brown on his passion and reason for starting Camp Southern Ground in Fayetteville, Georgia. You'll also see the unique way in which kids are learning the concept of farm to table, then back to the farm. These stories and so much more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor. Well, as you may already know, Georgia blueberries were severely damaged from a recent freeze event, and farmers around the state are still trying to evaluate the damage. The Monitor's Mark Wildman traveled to Appling County, where some fields have hope and others seem to be a total loss.
In Baxley, Appling County Extension Agent Shane Curry is busy walking blueberry fields with growers trying to figure out just how much damage the crop has suffered. On March 16th and into the 17th, temperatures dropped into the 20s overnight and turned what was going to be one of the best blueberry crops in years into a near total loss.
In Appling County alone, we're somewhere around a $25 to a $30 million loss, depending on how many varieties different farmers planted. Some varieties may make a little bit more fruit because that stage of bloom at the time the freeze occurred was not as far along to be susceptible to the cold temperatures that we had. But the vast majority of acres that we have definitely will be impacted. So a tremendous loss in our county as well as across the whole state of Georgia.
On Hoyt Altman's farm, there is still a little hope. After the freeze, he thought his crop was gone. But after further evaluation, there still may be a little life after all.
This variety is a Brightwell. It's probably, we call this the variety that's got the most antifreeze in it. But now, where it could take a 24 or 25 at the stage it was in, that's going to be hard. That's the reason we're going to have to evaluate this crop for another week and a half to 2 weeks.
As this crop is evaluated, some of the blooms look good and some do not.
I can tell you where that one's going. That one's gone. That's a zero. That's not, but that is a zero. You can carry that into the bank. It ain't gonna carry you no money.
Even if there is a crop to harvest, there is still the threat of not hitting a good market.
If this crop comes in, say the 25th of June, and we get into process, the process market ain't very good. There's a lot of process in the freezers. And so we could look at a cheap market. It's just according, if we get in before Jersey gets in.
Across the county at Miles Berry Farms, Alan Miles is looking at a total loss.
We had a crop set and forecast was supposed to be 29, 28 degrees, and we actually saw 21 degrees at approximately 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. All the blooms were frozen and just fried.
Now is the time to line up farm workers, and adjustments are going to have to be made on the number of workers brought to the farm.
We usually hire about 400 people a year. During the summer harvest season, this year we will probably do about 50 to 75.
Extension agents are working hard to help growers, but there is only so much they can do.
From my standpoint, one of the most frustrating things is no matter what, there's not a whole lot I can do about it. With disease questions, insect questions, anything that I deal with on a daily basis, I can give a recommendation, but on this, we can't change weather.
As for many blueberry growers, there is only one thing they can do at this point.
Look for next year. We do a pruning, hedging, spraying for disease, and plan for next year's crop.
In Appling County, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, Mark, great job. Now, meantime, producers in Alma are also dealing with heavy losses. After his recent tour of the area, Georgia Ag Commissioner Gary Black saying at one point this year's crop had the potential to be the biggest and the best crop of Georgia's production history. Now, says Black, you wouldn't be able to find enough to make one pie. So the question, what next? For more on that, we hear from longtime Alma producer David Lee.
The little city of Alma kind of runs on blueberries now, and it's going to be a big thing in South Georgia, especially southeast Georgia, where most of the production is. It's going to be a major hit financially for these farmers, and the ones that are just getting into farming, the blueberries that probably have plants 3 or 4 or 5 years old that haven't had the 1,000-pound threshold to get federal crop insurance, they will be out unless there's some kind of legislative action taken to get them some money to be able to be in business next year. We've already had to put an extra layer of fungicide on because you got a lot of damage. And what we need to be able to do is go in and immediately prune all this damaged stuff off and to set us up for a crop next year. Because at some point in time we will have to prune. The sooner you prune, the better chances are you're going to have a crop next year.
In other ag news, farmers and ranchers are now starting over after wildfires ripped through the Southwest, destroying cattle, fence lines, and homes along the way. Texas Farm Bureau's Gene Hall described the fires as a perfect storm.
We had rain earlier in the year that produced a lot of lush growth in the eastern part of the Panhandle, and then the winds came back, dried all that out, and it only took one spark, we think, from a transformer to destroy more than 400,000 acres of grassland. This also took the lives of 5 people, caused about $21 million in damage and approximately 3,000 to 5,000 head of livestock. Agriculture in Texas and elsewhere across the nation is kind of a community. It's a bond that we share with people that we may not even know. Years ago, back in the history of farming in this country, people would get together to build a barn if a barn was lost. And it's kind of that same spirit that we're getting together to do something that needs to be done. Farmers and ranchers just kind of feel compelled to help in some way.
Wow, so much damage. Good to see, though, that people are stepping up. Well, his music has touched and inspired millions. After the break, how years of working as a camp counselor inspired Georgia's own Zac Brown to create a one-of-a-kind retreat for kids from all walks of life.
Thank you, Farm Bureau.
Hard to believe, but in just a matter of weeks, another school year comes to a close, meaning doors will then open for 4-H camps and other types of outdoor adventures. For Grammy Award-winning musician Zac Brown, it's a time filled with great memories. As a former camp counselor himself, Zac knows firsthand how a positive camp experience can transform a child's life. To quote Brown, "My dream is that children of all abilities will have an opportunity to experience the magic of the outdoors. That dream is why the Lumpkin County High School grad started Camp Southern Ground in Fayetteville, Georgia.
What Camp Southern Ground is it's an inclusive camp that combines kids with neurodevelopmental disorders with mainstream kids. And by neurodevelopmental disorders, we're talking about autism, Asperger's, Tourette's, ADD, ADHD, and we also like to focus on dyslexia as well. And combining those kids with mainstream kids, and then of course we want to attract kids from all demographics. So we want to get the kids who are from the inner city who haven't had exposure to the outdoors. We want to get them outdoors because there's a lot of healing, a lot of growth can happen outdoors. Those that are socioeconomically challenged, we want to provide scholarships for those. There's a support for the military component, so children of military families, active duty or Gold Star kids, we want to support those as well.
One of the ways that we're more than a camp is helping people that we owe a debt to find their way emotionally and within their family and within our military, our veterans that have given an incredible amount. And these are people that do what they're told to do because they love our country. We want to offer some of the very best therapy and the best opportunity to take care of their families, hosting and helping people that have given a lot of their lives and some of their soul away to protect us, to have the same beautiful setting here so their family can come and their kids can be kids and have a camp type experience, for them to have some tools to take back into the world too, so that they can be part of their family unit rather than their unit that was overseas. We have to provide the very best environment and the very best people here to help bring them back home. They might be physically here, but to bring their mind and their heart back home and to be part of that unit. This is their unit now. This is their special forces unit, that their family is that. And to really be accepted into that unit and feel the love and acceptance from that unit. This is not my camp. This is not about me. This is about the difference that this place can have on the world. I think the impact that this place can have long term and the sustainability of this place is where kind of a grander design will appear that's really going to help to make a difference.
So we have a 15-acre certified organic farm of which we are growing vegetables, fruits and vegetables that will serve our camp needs, as well as provide a revenue stream for the camp for the surplus of that. We're teaching the kids about farm to table and then back to farm, if you see from our dining hall. But the farm to table, for the first time, we're getting kids out from the city and seeing vegetables grow and learning about the types of vegetables that, you know, they're actually picking them with our farmers out there. They're demonstrating, they're eating them off the vine, if you will, and some for the first time having ever done that. And so we're piquing their curiosity about growing and sustaining, you know, living off the land and having those fresh vegetables. And then they're going back into their meal that night. And so for a child to see something that's not coming out of a cardboard box out of the freezer and it's fresh and they just saw it today growing in the garden, to see it on their plate that night, it's a whole different level of engagement with food and with farming and that sort of thing.
Over 450 acres, and trust me when I say, folks, pictures alone do not tell the story of just how massive and incredible Camp Southern Ground really is. And now, if you'd like more information on the facility, here's the place to go. That is www.campsouthernground.org. Meantime, every year, peanut producers gather in Atlanta under the Gold Dome for the Peanut Butter and Jelly Day at the state capitol. The event gives the Georgia Peanut Commission a chance to connect with lawmakers in Atlanta and showcase the good work the industry is doing around the state. Kenny Bergamy reports.
One of the best days of the Georgia legislative calendar is Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. It's a time when lawmakers, their staff, and anyone else who might be visiting gets to sample many wonderful peanut products.
And we're excited to be here in Atlanta at the Capitol and pass out peanut butter jelly sandwiches, candies of all sorts of peanut products and peanuts here. So this is an exciting event, as it always each year.
As a part of the day, the chairman of the Senate Agriculture Committee and the chairman of the House Ag Committee recognized the peanut farmers of the state for all of their contributions.
Many people don't realize that over half the peanuts that are produced in the United States are produced in Georgia, and we're very proud of that fact.
Peanut products are very healthy, and on this day, the industry made a very large donation of peanut butter to the Atlanta Community Food Bank.
On behalf of the Atlanta Community Food Bank, we're absolutely grateful for this relationship with the Georgia Peanut Commission and Peanut Proud. We talked about 12,000 jars. In this state, we have 1 in 4 kids are food insecure. They do not know where their next meal is coming from, and this is going to provide thousands and thousands of meals for kids in need and for families in the state of Georgia. So we're just super grateful for what the peanut farmers in this state do for us and our communities. It's actually one of our most requested and most needed items. Not only is it high in protein, but it's nutritious and it's shelf stable, so you can actually keep it dry. It will make multiple meals out of one jar. So out of our top 10 items that we have at the food bank, it's one of the top ones. So it's absolutely a wonderful donation.
Not only does PB&J Day give participants the chance to enjoy grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but growers get to share with lawmakers the importance of supporting this important Georgia commodity.
We come up here to our legislature and help to get research funds and help to keep researchers at the School of Agriculture and through extension through the county agency and get it disseminated out to the farmer. That's the most important, is that we keep funds to fund research for the Georgia peanut farmer.
It doesn't matter what season it is, Georgia peanuts are a great way to eat healthy and support Georgia farmers.
All right, thank you very much, Kenny. Real people, real quality, and real service. That's the motto of Southern Valley Farms. When we come back, Damon Jones on how this one-time small operation is now spread across 2 states and even into Mexico. Stay tuned. And we welcome you back to the Monitor. It is where gardening and art combine. Horticulture that brings about beauty and peacefulness. As Charles Denny reports, bonsai trees make a unique addition to anyone's home or garden, and they can be grown both places.
Tranquility that grows into miniature beauty. First thing about a bonsai, it's a tree, not a plant. Granted, it's a small tree, or more specifically, a tree that's kept small. Any species can take bonsai status as long as it's pruned and shaped properly. Beautiful and unique, the tiny trees are peaceful to care for and admire.
I really like that it just kind of brings me back in touch with nature every time you get to look at them. You don't have to go out to the woods all the time.
Jacob Yelton is a student at UT's Institute of Agriculture and one of the UT Garden's best experts on bonsai trees. He led this class called Bonsai for Beginners.
Right, and this is the basic wiring process?
Here he instructed gardening enthusiasts in potting, twisting, and wiring the miniature trees. You create a bonsai tree by controlling the size and pattern of its growth.
I just kind of want to take a little bit of the mystery away from it for people, kind of, get them the basics, because it's really not that complicated once you get down to it. I think a lot of people are kind of afraid to get into it, but I'd like to kind of help clear some of that up for people.
Bonsai trees were first cultivated in China and Japan some 2,000 years ago. In Japanese, the word bonsai translates to planted in a container, but modern-day bonsai trees can be grown indoors or out.
What I'm trying to do now is decide which one I'm gonna keep as the crown.
Bonsai for Beginners is one of several classes offered by the UT Gardens. The educational outreach is year-round, even when it's too cold to dig. This class brought together people looking to find a little happiness by growing something beautiful.
This is always something that's interested me because of the uniqueness of the tree. And I like plants, but I seem to struggle with them. So what better way to learn about them than to come to UT?
Yeah, so we have a lot of, we call them make and take workshops. And so we usually have a lecture portion, and then we have the interactive portion where people can actually build these, like we do fairy gardens sometimes. We're doing this bonsai workshop.
So consider the bonsai to spruce up your home or garden. Trees make our world a prettier place, and the bonsai is proof that beauty comes in all sizes. This is Charles Denny reporting.
Thank you, Charles. Finally today, one of the top vegetable producers in the state recently celebrated a milestone. Damon Jones takes a look at Southern Valley Farms in Colquitt County, where their year-round operation and state-of-the-art technology started off from humble beginnings.
What began as a vision and a small 100-acre farm 3 decades ago has now grown into a more than 5,000-acre operation spread across 3 different locations, growing everything from their prized pole cucumbers to peppers to even eggplant. And no matter the produce, hard work and great pride go into growing it here at Southern Valley Farms in Norman Park, Georgia.
We have a very intensive spray program, fertilization program. I'm in the fields every day managing, watching over stuff, looking at stuff. We have a scout that helps us look for insects and disease, and he assists me in that.
This is just one of the 3 farms used by Southern Valley, which gives them a unique growing advantage.
Today we are in 3 locations. We have a spring and a fall season here in Georgia, and we have a summer season at our Tennessee farm, and we have a winter production down in Yucatan, Mexico. It allows us to be a year-round producer for our customers.
And it's not just the different locations that give Southern Valley an advantage. Here in Norman Park, they have everything they need to control their produce from the seed to the shelf by making this operation completely self-sustaining.
It allows us to be fully integrated, starting from the seed in the greenhouse, going to planting it in the field. Our harvesters get to harvest it. We get to pack it in our own packing sheds, and we get to ship it out from our own warehouses and packing sheds. So it kind of sets us apart and makes us unique from other competitors.
No matter where you are in the country, you'll likely see this label in the produce aisle, as Southern Valley is quickly becoming a household name.
Most of our crops go all over the East Coast. They go up to New York, Canada. They go all over the U.S. for the most part. You can find our produce at Walmart, Aldi's. We're working on Publix. There's several different places where you can find them. We're starting to sell to Blue Apron.
And that success is part of the reason this company recently celebrated their 30th year in business. And through the years, it has become a staple in this small Georgia community.
You know, God's blessed us and allowed us to grow over the years and give other people a living and provide other people with an income and our employees and have a great team along the way. So 30 years is a huge milestone for us. We're very, very blessed.
And one of the things they are most proud of is the fact that it started off and continues to be a family-owned and operated business. It's family pride shown by both Austin and Courtney, who returned to the farm after college and have never looked back.
I love being on the farm. That's my passion. That's what I enjoy to do every morning when I wake up. I rode in a tractor when I was a little boy with my dad, and ever since then I've always loved farming. I went to college and thought I wanted to be an accountant, and I come back to the farm and started farming, and I've loved it ever since.
You know, it's not a front that we put on. We just truly enjoy being around each other and working together, and I enjoy being here. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Reporting from Norman Park, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Damon, nice job, sir. Thank you very much. That is going to do it for this week's edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor. Now, just a reminder, for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and of course what's happening down on the farm, be sure to check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and the Farm Monitor show. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.